These pipes normally pump molten metal from the smelting pool, but no longer. Eat hot slag, Decepticons. Burn, you tin-plated tyrants. Feel what Scrounge felt when you tossed him into your stinking pit. Blasters lets the Decepticons have it. On Cybertron, an Autobot spy discovers a message sent to the Decepticons from Earth. Transformers, Volume 1, Issue 17. Return to Cybertron, Part 1. The Smelting Pool. This is Cybertron, the home planet of the Transformers. With no star to orbit, Cybertron spins through the endless reaches of space, a silvery sphere sparkling like a rare gem against a velvety black void. However, a closer look reveals it to be a pockmarked mechanical wasteland of misery, a grim monument to millions of years of war and oppression. Here, the Decepticons are mercilessly hunting down neutral robots. Here, in the province of Polyhex, the Decepticons rulers consider each transformer who is not one of them to be unnecessary burden on the planet's dwindling fuel supply. The Decepticons maintain that such transformers are good for only one thing. They are a source of raw materials. As we see the Decepticon, Ferak hunts down neutral robots, demonstrating the brutal philosophy in action. On the planet Cybertron, Autobot warrior Blaster is searching for his friend Scrounge when he comes across a group of Decepticons hunting down and killing neutrals to pillage for raw materials. Blaster intervenes and kills them all. The lone survivor is thankful. However, Blaster is less than impressed with having to rescue a derelict robot. The name's Blaster, and if you want to thank me, you'll crawl back into your hole, pal. I've got better things to do than save the rusty hides of robo-wretches like you. Meanwhile, Scrounge manages to sneak his way into Darkmount, the headquarters of the Decepticon leader, Lord Straxus, to search for a missing scientist named Spanner. There he spies on Sharpno and his subordinates who have just picked up a message from Earth. Recording this message with special devices allows them to collect audio and video in his fingers. Scrounge attempts to retreat but sets off the alarm. Scrounge reports to Blaster and asks to meet him, but he is captured and carried away by Sharpno to an area known as the Dead End, filled with Cybertrons impoverished. When Scrounge doesn't show up, the worried Blaster returns to the Auto base, the Autobots' secret headquarters on Cybertron. There he tells his comrades Perceptor, Cosmos, Powerglide, Beachcomber, Warpath, and Sea Spray that he is worried about Scrounge and wants them to help him search for his friend. Perceptor initially refuses the request due to the risk and the possibility that Scrounge has likely been fed into Lord Straxus' Smelting Pool. However, Blaster managed to rally the other Autobots for his mission, and Perceptor concedes. Perceptor says the rest of us obviously find Scrounge less valuable than you do. No doubt this is another one of your self-serving fantasies, and he's afraid we'll catch him in another lie, or else the Decepticons capture him, in which case he's already a slag, slick floating atop of a smelting pool. Forget him, Blaster. Blaster responds, I ought to punch you out your optical senses for saying that, Perceptor. Scrounge was telling me the truth, and I'll prove it. Perceptor replies, look again at our wall of fame, sculptured Decepticons of fatal Autobots from our past. Most prominent among them is the great Optimus Prime. Almost 50,000 Vorns ago, he and a crew of some of our greatest Autobot warriors were lost in space, victims of a desperate Decepticon ambush. The scales of war have tipped dramatically in the Decepticons' favor since then. They now control most of Cybertron. Our forces are too depleted to risk any unnecessary missions. Our best and only hope is to discover some technological advance that we can use against our enemies. Only then can we begin to win back our world. Even with that moving speech, the troops rally behind Blaster. Even Perceptor comes along, but says we'll go look for Scrounge, but one attempt only. In the shadows of Fortress Darkmount lies a festering pit, a grisly gash in the skin of Cybertron. This is the Smelting Pool. The blood-red molten metal churning within its walls boils with the disintegrating bodies of Transformers disgorged into it by Decepticon harvester units. Its perimeter is lined with heavily armored Decepticon guards who ensure ensure that none who go in ever come out. The moans of the weak, the mutilated, and the dying echo within the pit walls as one by one they slide beneath the pool's swirling surface, never to be seen again. The intense heat painfully melts them into their component metals while giant pipes pump their molten remains to the surface. There they are cooled into solid ingots for the future use as raw materials in constructing newer, more advanced transformers. It is a horrible manner in which to die. Shrapnel would have it no other way for his enemies. Shrapnel says to Scrounge, your screams will soon join those rising from the pit below. Autobot, I will enjoy hearing that, but first I think Straxus will want to hear what you have to say about your spying activities. Inside, Lord Straxus, the Lord High Governor of Polyhex, holds court as Decepticons, Kickback, Bombshell, Dirge, Ramjet, and Thrust look on. No mercy is shown by Lord Straxus. Lord Straxus says, mercy is not dispensed here, fools, only death. Dispose of them. Why do you soil my floor with this Autobot? Shrapnel responds, I caught him spying on the communication research lab, Lord Straxus. Scrounge is brought before Lord Straxus, who tears off Scrounge's arm and then orders him tossed into the Smelting Pool, a place where all Straxus victims are melted down for raw materials. The Autobots end up in the dead end where one of its many empties tells them that he saw Shrapnel capturing Scrounge. While the other Autobots believe Scrounge is dead, Blaster is not willing to give up on his friend and goes to Darkmount alone. As Blaster reaches the outskirts of the Decepticon stronghold, he thinks to himself, chances are Scrounge is down there in a smelting pool, but there's only one way to find out. Blaster attacks the base's defense by short-circuiting the laser central tower. He is then noticed by the Decepticon. As Blaster knocks out a few Decepticons, he quickly attracts the attention of other guards and is surrounded. The Decepticons' guards want to push him in or he will jump. Just then Shrapnel arrives and says, this is a renowned Autobot warrior, Blaster. I'm sure Straxus would first want to bid him farewell in his own unique way. Moments later, in a massive nearby chamber that serves as a construction assembly area, Shrapnel brings Blaster to Lord Straxus. Lord Straxus says, you try my paces, Shrapnel. The demands of this project allow me no time to waste on wayward Autobots and idiots like you. Shrapnel says, but surely, Lord Straxus, finding two Autobots within such a short period of time is just a potential threat. Lord Straxus hits Shrapnel and says nothing exists that can threaten Straxus. Nothing. Lord Straxus says, toss him in the pool, and you, Shrapnel, can expect to join him if you continue wasting my time. Blaster manages to grab onto a ledge where he spots Scrounge already in the smelting pool's liquid. Oh, I let them catch me so I could find you. Hold on, little buddy, Blaster says. Scrounge replies, hurry, the pain. I must give you the information. Blaster is unconcerned about the information and just wants to save his friend, but Scrounge insists on giving him the information. Scrounge attempts to give him information just as Powerglide arrives. Blaster is determined to put them both out. However, when they are pulled up, Blaster sees that half of Scrounge's body has melted away. Scrounge forces Blaster to let go, ejects a memory tape from his head and tosses it to Blaster before sinking to the bottom of the pool to his death. Blaster is surprised to see Sea Spray, Cosmos, Beachcomber, and Warpath have come to rescue him. They make their escape but are chased by Shrapnel, Bombshell, Kickback, Dirge, Thrust, and Ramjet. Blaster drops down and pulls out two pipes from the smelting pool, using them to blast the Decepticons with hot slag. With their attackers retreating, Blaster and the others escape and return to Autobase. There, they play Scrounge's data tape and learn that it was a transmission from Earth sent by the Decepticon Soundwave, informing the Decepticons on Cybertron about Earth, and that the only opposition there is Optimus Prime and a group of Autobots also stranded on Earth with him. Perceptors and the others are elated to learn that Optimus Prime, thought lost for 4 million years, is alive and well on Earth, giving them renewed hope. Notes, this issue makes the first look at Cybertron since issue 1, a year and a half prior. The story depicts Cybertron as a hellish nightmare where citizens struggle to survive. Writer Bob Budansky drew inspiration from the blasted post-apocalyptic wasteland shown in the 1984 movie The Terminator, describing the metal planet in this issue's script with "Think of Hell." The story uses its Cybertronian setting to introduce most of the remaining characters from the 1984 1985 product line who has not yet appeared in the comic. In keeping with what was shown of Cybertron in issue 1 and the first episode of the animated series, many of the characters have unique Cybertronian alternate models, though most are entirely different from their Earth forms. The Insecticons and the new Decepticon jets already have their Earth forms, possibly in anticipation of their journey to Earth, revealed in the next issue. The message of the Decepticons received was sent by Soundwave in issue 10. Next, Transformers Volume 1, issue 18, The Bridge to Nowhere.